video, we're going to look at the area section of this test. And so when we're looking at these shapes, we want to be able to identify which of the formulas below should we be using. Well, we're not talking about volume, so we're not needing these two formulas. Not talking about surface area, that's for 3D figures. So it's all of these ones that have to do with the capital A. I still need to update the the test review. This is from last year. We're not going to use SOHCAHTOA in this test. So I've got 4 choices for the area of a triangle. And if you recall, triangles come from the area of a rectangle, where you're just taking half of each of those rectangles. So you're taking half of the area of a rectangle. So that's where we get the base times height divided by 2. Base and height form a right angle. So we are following the 7 and 5. So the bare minimum of work that I need to see for this part is going to be 7 times 5 divided by 2, and that's how we can get the 17.5. Now, if you leave your answer like this, I will take off a half a point or a quarter point because you're not including the units, which are yards. And since we're talking about area, it's yards squared. So once again, looking at those 4 formulas down at the bottom, I'm looking for how to find the area of a parallelogram. The trick with this is you're taking this triangle right here, and it shifts over to this side here. And it creates a rectangle that we can then use to find the area of. So the area of a rectangle and the area of a parallelogram are identical. It's just base times height. So we're just doing 23 times 48. And that's going to give us an area of 1101, I have 4 yards squared, 1,104 yards squared. This is a trapezoid. The way that you get the formula for a trapezoid is we're rotating it 180 degrees so that it flops right over here. And then we got ourselves a long parallelogram. So it's base times height. Well, now my base is 21. So I have to add these two together. So I'm doing 34 plus 21, multiplying by the height, which is 18. But I just want one trapezoid. This is repeating twice. I've got 2 of them identical to each other. So that's where the divide by 2 comes from. So the weirdest looking one with base 1 and base 2 is your trapezoid base. So now we can type that into our calculators and get an area of 495 yards squared. And then the last few, come on, no problem. We're looking for the area of this figure. There's multiple ways that you can find this area. You can split it into 2 rectangles or even 2 other rectangles. It doesn't matter which pattern you use. So this would be a square and a rectangle. I personally, when it's a kind of like a little piece taken out, I like to take that little piece and subtract it. That's my personal preference. The way I do that is I see it as these 2 rectangles because then I can see that this side length here is 14. So to make it 17, I just have to add that 3 on. So that means that this rectangle is a 3 by 14. So I'm taking the area of the bigger rectangle, which is 17 by, this would be 30, 17 by 30. And I'm taking off that little rectangle at the top, which is 3 by 14. So when I multiply 17 times 30, and subtract 3 times 14, that will get me the answer of 468, and our units are feet squared. This one looks like we've got a triangle on top of a rectangle. So I'm going to label this as 1 and 2, so that when I find the area of a triangle, I can show that I know it's base times height. Well, that's my height, so I know it's times 9. The base is the same as that, so 14, but it's a triangle, so I have to divide by 2. Since I'm finding the area of the whole shaded region, I have to add on the area of the rectangles, so just 5 times 14 for the length and width. When I add these 2 together, so this is the area of the second shape, I get 133 yards squared. The last one is a triangle and a semicircle. Looking for the area of a triangle, I can multiply the base times the height. Well, I know the height is 15. And the base is adding together 2 of the radiuses, the radii. This radius goes from the center to the edge, so the radius is 10. So if both of these are 10, the entire base is 20. So that's base times height, but I have to divide it by 2 because it's a triangle. So that's shape 1. I'm going to add on shape 2, which is a semicircle. So I know the area of a circle is pi r squared. Well, we use 3.14 for pi. The radius is 10, but that's the area of a full circle. I need to divide it by 2 to get the area of a semicircle. When I type all of this into my calculator, I should be getting 307 yards squared.